this is my review of My Hero Academia. Okay, so the villains completed their objective. That's the long and short of it. So what happened was, immediately after finding out that Dark Shadow is out of control, Shoji reveals just what happened, and reveals that he had gotten one of his tentacles cut off, but since his quirk is dupla arms, he can easily grow it back eventually. But Tokoyami, seeing his friend hurt, kind of lashed out at the villains a little bit and lost control, which is exactly what we're seeing at the end of the last episode and at the beginning of this one. So, at which point Shoji gives Deku an ultimatum of whether to try and help Bakugo or try and help Tokoyami, and Deku finds a way to do both. He convinces Shoji to lure Tokoyami's Dark Shadow over to where Bakugo and Todoroki are battling Moonfish, and so that Dark Shadow will be able to finish them off, and then they can deal with Dark Shadow later and fix and help out there. And that is exactly what happens. He finishes off Moonfish, and then both Todoroki and Bakugo use their quirks and dispel Dark Shadow. And Dark Shadow and Tokoyami kind of tears up a little bit because he realizes that Dark Shadow got out of control and that he should have been more careful and all that. And Shoji points out that they'll work on it, that they'll figure it out later, and points out that that's what Tokoyami would say to him if the roles were reversed. And which is kind of just you're welcome enough, I guess. At which point they start to formulate a plan where they realize that they would need to cut through the woods in order to get to the cabins, because they know that the Wild Pussycats are still facing off against Spinner and Magne, and understandably need to stay as far away from them so that they don't cause a distraction for the villains and cause the villains to go after them instead. So they decide to do exactly that. And eventually they do meet up with Uraraka and Sue, who are busily fighting Toga, who has since befriended both of them and pinned Sue to a tree, and also accurately deduces that Uraraka has a crush on Deku, and also gives her own twisted definition of what love is. And this scene is mostly designed to show just how warped and twisted her idea of relationships is. That's mainly what this scene with her is. It's designed to show that she believes herself to be Uraraka and Sue's friend, when in actuality that's not the case. And also in this scene she develops a crush on Deku, who showed up because she kind of fit her type of somebody who was tattered and reeking of blood. And also while she's deducing that Uraraka has a crush on Deku, she stabs Uraraka in the calf with one of her needles and starts draining her blood before squirming out of Uraraka's grip once the other students show up. At which point it's revealed that Bakugo and Tokoyami have since disappeared, and it's revealed that a villain, Mr. Compress, actually took them and is planning to take them back to the League of Villains to make them into villains. At which point the group gives chase and begins to formulate a plan of how to catch up with him, because they quickly realize that he's kind of just evading their attacks, even by Todoroki, who is one of the more powerful students in their arsenal and one of their best attackers, aside from Tokoyami. So they begin to chase and formulate a plan. Meanwhile, the rest of the remaining villains decide to regroup. And Aoyama is almost caught. He kind of overhears their plan just a little bit after they regroup, and Mr. Compress tells the entire group his success. And he has Ejiro and Teru with him, because he was supposed to get them back to camp, but he kind of froze when he saw the villains and begins contemplating about whether or not he should actually attack you should actually attack them and fight back and attack the villains, but is spotted by Dabi and is almost found out until Twice reminds Dabi that he had kind of set a Nomu loose on some of the children to just do whatever the hell it wanted, and Dabi realizes he should probably call it back since it only answers to him. And case in point, we see the Nomu, and it's terrifying. It's got chainsaws and buzz saws and drills for arms. It's terrifying, and it's also chasing after Awase from Class 1B, whom we've already seen up to this point, so I'm not going to show him. And Yaoyorozu, who kind of got floored by the Nomu and is just barely hanging on for dear life. But as soon as the Nomu is called back, it immediately retracts its extra arms and then goes to the rendezvous point. At which point, Yaoyorozu realizes that they need to plant a tracker on it. So she creates a tracker using her quirk, and then Awase uses his quirk to meld the tracker into the Nomu's flesh, and then the Nomu just walks away, and they decide to head back to camp so that Yaoyorozu can recover. So, meanwhile, the fight with Spinner and Magnate isn't going well, and the Wild Pussycats have actually managed to restrain them. I said it wasn't going well, but it wasn't really going well for the villains. So they've been thoroughly restrained by the heroes. At which point, Kurogiri just kind of appears out of nowhere to get them out of Dodge. So yeah, Kurogiri just kind of showed up and is now getting Spinner and Magnate out of there, which I would expect if they're going to be sending a group of villains. It will make sense that they would send the guy who can teleport in and out of places to keep an eye on them. Makes perfect sense. But as the villains are regrouping at the rendezvous point with Toga actually revealing that she made new friends and found a guy she likes, Deku and the rest of the team have actually formulated a plan to catch up with Mr. Compress by basically using Uraraka's zero gravity quirk combined with Asui's frog quirk to launch the students at Mr. Compress, and then Uraraka releases the quirk and they send the villain crashing to the ground so that they can get Tokiyami and Bakugo back. So, and it works. They crash into him, but they wind up landing it directly in the rendezvous point and are now surrounded by villains. So it works, I guess, but now they're in trouble because now they have villains surrounding them. I mean, granted, not many villains. I mean, that Nomu was pretty terrifying, but he hasn't shown up yet. So yeah, we'll see how that goes for them. I imagine not very well because I don't know. It doesn't sound like it'll go very well and have a very happy ending for anybody involved. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Bakugo and Tokiyami were successfully kidnapped by the League of Villains by the Vanguard Action Squad, and now Kurogiri is showing up and evacuating everybody. So it's clear that that's going to be a thing now. But who knows how this is going to play out? I mean, they've tracked down what's left of the villains, and most of their team is out of commission. So that means they only have like 4 or 5 of their original 10. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we still haven't seen Toga's quirk yet. I mean, I know what it is mainly because I look stuff up ahead of time so I can accurately review these. But yeah, we also haven't seen Toga's quirk yet, and I'm assuming that's going to play a role because she just stole a bunch of blood from Uraraka. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know what's going to happen, but I kind of do and I kind of don't. I know some things because I look people up so I can post pictures here. So I can post pictures in these. That's mainly what I look up. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I don't really know what's gonna happen next. I'm assuming it's not going to go well for anybody involved, but we'll see. But anyway, yeah, if you guys have seen this episode of My Hero Academia, what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Also, Season 4 is out, and I am behind. So, yeah, I will be catching up. I will eventually review Season 4, but for right now, I have to get through Season 3. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, check out my Patreon description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month, and it really helps me out, so I would definitely appreciate it if you did that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!